Hi, everyone. It's Lisa Brown from InkandInspirations.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. I want to welcome you to this first in our Makeover series. I had previously done Makeover Mondays on my blog, a while back, and I had stopped doing those and I really enjoyed them. So I decided to hop on here on YouTube, find some videos that I think you would enjoy remaking in current product or with supplies you have at home, and just share these again with a picture and a version with some new product. So I hope you will give it a try. So in this video, you'll see how to make this double Z card, and it's a portrait style. And it's so easy to make and it's fun. And I especially like to send these to like my grandkids. They love the fun fold cards. So anyway, sit back, relax, take a few notes, and I hope you'll recreate this card. Let's get started. Doing another fun fold tonight. It's a double Z, which I've done before, but this one is in portrait mode. So we're going to start with some soft, succulent cardstock. This is cut 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. Okay, move that aside. And when you fold it, you want to have that Z. Make that Z, and this long piece here will be our card bottom, okay? And then this short piece is going to be the top, say the opening. Now, to make it a double Z, we'll need another piece of soft succulent. This is cut at 3 1/4 by 10, and I also scored that at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. Okay, so let me just show you. When we assemble this, it's kind of backwards. The long end is going to go over the front there. The short end will be adhered on the what we consider the inside of the card, and it's going to be put together like that, okay? But let's do some other parts first before we start gluing this together. So I'm going to get some of the designer paper. It's called Harvest Meadow. And I have 2 pieces cut at 2 1/2 by 4. And let's go ahead and put those on right here on the large base. We're going to glue those right there. So let me get my liquid glue. You could use your Stampin' seal to do this as well. I like the little bit of wiggle room I have with the liquid glue. All right. I love these soft colors in this, and look at that neutral background on the back side. In that little journal, I use these papers as well. So I'm centering that side to side and top to bottom. Now for this back part here, this piece, same pattern, cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to glue that down just like that. Little bit of glue, and we'll set it right down just like that. Okay, now we have this part here. Okay, so we need to dress this up a bit. So I decided to use Bumblebee, which is that yellow color in the designer paper. And I've got, let's see, it looks like I'm missing a piece, but I'll find it somewhere. If not, I'll just have to make another one. This, you need 2 of these cut at 2 1/2 by 3. And that's going to go right here, okay? So I need another one. I'm going to have to fix that. And then I have another piece cut at 3 by 4 1/4. Now you can see this is embossed. So I used the Time Worn Type embossing folder, 3D embossing folder, and cut my pieces and then ran them through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to give that some pizzazz there. I'm going to see if I can find that other piece. I know I cut one. Let's see if this one will work. That one's a little big, but I think I can cut it down. All right, so I needed that at 2 1/2 by 3. Let me get my trimmer in here and we'll make it work. How about that? 2.5 by 3. So let's measure this. That's 2 3/4. And that's 3. So I need to cut that down to 2 1/2. Okay, let's see if we can make that work. Yes, sirree, we can. Let's go ahead and put these down. This one is going to go here. And then we have 2 pieces. Again, they are 2.5 by 3. Going to be the same size on these 2 smaller panels. There. And this one's going to go right there. Okay, now I'm going to put my sentiment here because that's going to be on the inside, so to speak, of the card, okay? So I have a piece of basic white cut 2.5 by 2. And we're going to do some stamping on this. I'm going to get some scrap paper to put under it and my Stampin' Pierce mat. And let me get all of these little papers out of the way. Hope that helps you as I'm making the video to see those measurements there. So I decided to use a sentiment from the Delicate Dahlias stamp set, this Sending Heartfelt Sympathy, okay? And this stamp set can be earned with a $100 purchase during celebration. So that's through the end of this month, September 30th, 2021. It's a beautiful set, and I love this sentiment. So let me see. I think since I'll end up giving this card away to someone who comments in the live video, I'm going to use a different sentiment. How about that? Let me do a thank you kindly. I have needed several sympathy cards here as of late, and so I've just been making a stack of those to have on hand. All right, so I've mounted the thank you kindly and going to stamp in Soft Succulent toward the top here of this basic white. Okay, let's get this ink out of the way. Now I'm going to use this coneflower image. Beautiful, love it. I have some purple coneflowers that grow in the woods here by the cabin, and I wish I would have picked some before they went away, but I didn't. Now I just stamped here the top in Bumblebee. Okay, I'm tying the color in. You can make these any color you'd like. I'm going to stamp off and then stamp here just to give that a little color, and I'll tie in the image that's going to be on the front of the card. All right, so now let me go ahead and put this here. Liquid glue, and liquid glue is best to use when you're adhering a piece over a dry embossed piece like this one is here. All right, so now let me move that out of the way. I need to clean my stamp because we're going to use that again. I'm going to get our base here, and I'm going to show you how I mount this together. So I usually come in about a 1/2 inch from the designer paper here, okay? And then I take it and fold it, and I kind of push it and get it equidistant from top to bottom and from side to side. Just eyeball it, okay? So then I lift this up, carefully. Okay, and I'm going to put liquid glue just behind that piece right there. Okay, I'm going to come back this way, check out my positioning again, and then push that down. And I'm going to hold that for just a bit. Okay. I found this is just the easiest way for me to do that. Okay. And then since it's liquid glue, if you need to wiggle it a bit, but that's fine. That looks fine. All right. So now I want to secure this to this top flap. So I'm going to fold this over, and I know I have a few inches, a couple of inches here to put my adhesive. Okay, then bring this over and just fold it down. Okay, and give it a hold. Press down. Okay, and just give it a few seconds to dry. And see how pretty that is? I love that fold. So pretty. All right, so now to decorate the front, we are going to use a stamped image, and I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time coloring this time since I did that last week. But you would take this image, a piece of basic white cardstock, ink it with Memento black ink if you're coloring with Stampin' Blends, our alcohol markers. If you're coloring with other mediums, such as our Stampin' Write markers, or you're going to use watercolor pencils and a blender pen, you would need to use StazOn ink. And of course, if you decided to stamp on watercolor paper, you would either emboss the image or stamp with StazOn, and then you could watercolor and it wouldn't run. Okay, look at that beautiful image. And so what I did is I just took my Daffodil Delight and I just very easily colored the petals. And this will be die cut out. I'll just do one of these flowers here. Took some of the dark Daffodil Delight and added a little bit of shading there. Okay. For the cone, it's usually really dark, but I didn't want it to be black or look black since there's a lot of little etchings in the stamp itself. So I'm using light soft suede and just filling that in. Okay, and then you can get this bottom a little darker, and sometimes you can bring a little down into the top of the flower. Now, in staying with the color scheme, I decided to use soft succulent for the stems and leaves, so I just colored in like that and then came back in with the dark soft succulent and did some shading a little bit, and then I blended it together, going back over it with the light. Okay, so after I colored all of that, I used the coordinating die from the bundle, and I die cut that out on my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay, so let me show you the finished piece here. See how pretty that is? And it just stands out against that bumblebee background. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue again, which is going to be best on that embossed, dry embossed image. You know, when you use an embossing folder, it's dry, referred to as dry embossing. Okay, when you use Versamark and the heat tool to melt the powder, that's heat embossing. Okay, so the terms are used either way. Sometimes I don't say dry embossing and sometimes I don't say heat embossing, but that's the difference. Okay, all right, then I'm going to take some of these jewels, in color jewels, and we have soft succulent here. I'm going to take, let's see. And I'm going to try to put it where there's not too much of a raised section so that it will grab and hold. Okay, let me pull this up. See right here, it's not raised so much. I'm trying to decide where to put it. It's always such a decision for me. Okay, so now I'm going to get another large one and come down here and put it. Okay, and I don't put a sentiment on the front. I just leave it. Now, I had thought I needed something here in this center. And what you could do is cut another 2.5 by 2 piece of basic white and put it there if you needed to write more of a note. But if not, I took some of the soft succulent ribbon, and just to add a little bit more fun to it and prettiness, this ribbon is gorgeous. And I think I've told you, but on one video, but the pale papaya, which is one of the in colors, this one right here, when they first came out, it was my least favorite in color. Okay, it's like, I'm going to go ahead and use this up because I know it's not going to be my favorite. Oh, was I wrong? It ended up being my favorite, and I've used quite a bit of the pale papaya ribbon. In fact, I just had to order some more. So, don't ever discount either a stamp set. You know how you see those stamp sets and you think, oh, I don't need that. And then you see someone work with it and it's like, oh my goodness, okay, I'm convinced. That happens to me all the time, y'all. All right, so here we go. Isn't that pretty? Okay. So doesn't that look like so much fun to make? And it's really easy and so much fun to receive as well. So I hope you'll give that a try. If you'll go to inkinspirations.com and search for the picture of this card, I'll have the details about it in case you need some more to take some more notes or just a refresher. And I hope you'll give it a try. Be sure you click the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss any of my videos. And I thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.